Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Hubar begins now.
A key West Coast mine's future is uncertain after a major shareholder setback preventing the injection of vital funds. Labor wants the state government to intervene, but it says it's already put support on the table.
A West Coast mine with its future on the rocks. With over 200 jobs on the line, the race is on to keep the operators of the Avebury nickel mine afloat.
Avebury is the second largest nickel sulphide deposit in Australia. It has got to almost nameplate capacity in under 12 months.
When Mallee Resources took over in 2018, the state government offered $3.5 million in payroll tax relief to keep things stable. But Labor says it never eventuated and is also calling for the release of a multi-million-dollar bond paid to Aurora Energy.
They failed to deliver on that commitment all those years ago, and that's just not good enough.
Last month, Avebury recorded its best performance since it was recommissioned, but Mallee Resources is struggling to fund itself. A finance proposal rejected by just over half of shareholders would have given its largest investor a majority share.
The company that owns the mine is where the issues are going through, and hopefully that'll be a good outcome.
With the popularity of electric vehicles skyrocketing, the demand for nickel, a key ingredient for batteries, has increased. Experts say the mine is in a prime position to supply the hot commodity.
So we've got it in Tasmania. The Avebury mine operates with a really small footprint and does it in a very sustainable way.
The future of that mine depends on it, our regional economy depends on it, and the livelihoods of those families depends on it.
The government says it's renewed its offer of payroll tax relief, but its support packages are subject to the terms and conditions around prudent financial management. Mark Zita, 7 Tasmania News.
Emergency services are warning Tasmanians to brace for more wild weather as the threat of dangerous winds continues. The SES is calling for common sense as it ramps up safety operations for the next 24 hours.
Strong winds have lashed parts of Tasmania, and there's more to come tonight and tomorrow.
These are most likely during the morning about the exposed west coast and also elevated areas, and then from late afternoon more broadly across the west and south of Tasmania.
West, south and eastern parts of the state were in the firing line today. The highest wind gusts recorded just under 140 kilometres, while Hobart saw gusts reaching almost 90, prompting a police response.
So Tasmania Police has already responded to about 12 events in the last 24 hours of trees across the road.
While some took advantage of the winds today, the advice for those headed out on the waters tomorrow is to think twice.
There will be abnormally high tides, and we do have a severe weather warning current for abnormally high tides. In the west, those high tides are going to occur in the middle of the day.
The SES begging people to use common sense and not risk their lives or the lives of emergency volunteers.
If your property's prepared, the onus is on you to actually make good decisions and not travel out in these conditions if you don't need to. Be extremely mindful of the potential for trees to come down. Be prepared with your emergency home kit due to power outages. Keep
up to date with all the latest warnings on the BOM and SES websites. Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
The wild weather didn't stop Tasmanian grain farms from getting out in nature. Dozens of people took to Claremont's foreshore with gloves and pickaxes to celebrate National Tree Day. Claremont Coast Care and Conservation Volunteers Australia planted 450 grass species to restore the habitat for local wildlife.
We are mainly doing grasses because what we want to achieve is to have protection from the wind, from predators, and so that the birds can sort of nest here.
Opportunities like National Tree Day bring people together, community connection, good for our environment and good for our souls.
It was one of several tree planting events happening around the state today. Tasmania's top basketball team is on the hunt for talented individuals to entertain and energise crowds during games. Dozens of aspiring performers spent the afternoon auditioning to see if they have what it takes to join the squad.
Turning up the heat on a wintry day. The
Jack Jumpers have launched auditions to find its next Tasgas Jump squad.
Tassie has such talented dancers, and unfortunately just because we're in such a small, we're a bit isolated from the mainland, we don't get looked on as much.
The doors were open to anyone over 17, no matter their level of experience.
The dance component is huge, but I need somebody who's smiling, somebody who's not afraid to talk to somebody. I need somebody who's going to just exude as much energy as I do, really, to be honest.
The former squad also required to try out.
It was a wonderful opportunity to get last year. There's not many really jobs down here to come by for dance, and dancing's kind of always been, since I was little, been something I've wanted to kind of get into.
Successful applicants will be paid to train weekly and bring their best form to the floor of NBL games.
The Jack Jumpers could be down by 2 points, and it might be up to us to make sure that crowd is behind them and we get the win.
Head coach Scott Roth stopping by to wish them good luck, with the final squad expected to be announced by the end of August. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania's rainy weather did nothing to deter plenty of people heading to Bridport for this year's Scallop Fiesta. The event offered something for everyone, from live demonstrations, food and drink offerings, and of course the annual pie contest. A total of 29 stallholders took part in the festival. Keen jazz enthusiasts from all across the state converged in Devonport today for the annual Jazz Festival. The 3-day event saw 27 performances across 20 venues for music lovers to enjoy.
This year we are having a sort of like a bit of a revival. It feels like it's expanding again after the closures and clamping down from the corona years that we've just endured.
The Jazz Festival wraps up today. This year's Tasmanian Open Karate Championships kicked into action today, with some of the best on the mat vying for a spot in the national competition. Karate Tasmania hoping to inspire more people to take up the sport.
Like something out of Karate Kid, this competition's punching above its weight. The 2023 Tasmanian Open Karate Championships saw 34 of the best competitors of all ages gather to exhibit their skills on the mat. Madison Mackey is one of 3 to come out on top, securing her first ever gold medal in the female Super Kata Open. But that wasn't it.
Then I just had the senior women's and also took out gold as well, so 2 in a row, good start.
Other winners included Duncan Taylor in the male senior Kata Open and Michelle Ciampa in the male senior Open. 3 of the participants here are set to represent the island state next month in Western Australia, going up against 400 of the best across the country.
Excited and nervous. It's one of the bigger competitions of the year, so yeah, it's really exciting to go and get to the other level, because on the mainland it's a lot more intense. The
association hoping today's event inspires others to take up the sport.
We're growing again after COVID, but we're not mainstream. It's the sort of thing that people get exposed to. Some people will embrace it.
Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
Turning to the NPL, and South Hobart's 5-game winning streak has come to an end after falling to Kingborough by 1 goal. All the action happening in the first half, with South Hobart opening scoring in the 11th minute. It was their only goal, with the Lions responding in the 23rd and 45th minutes.
Cuts it back to the top of the box. It'll find Mees at the back post. It's 2-1 to Kingborough.
Kingborough will face Riverside Olympic next round, with South Hobart set to take on Clarence.
Today, Hobart 16 degrees, Launceston, Devonport and Burnie all 14. Friendly Beaches and Maria Island 17. Flinders Island, Grove and Bushy Park 16. 15 for Smithton and St Helens. 14 for King Island and Low Head. Strawn 13, 7 degrees for Lyweenie. Strong northwesterly winds push cloud over most of Tasmania today. A frontal cloud band is over the southeast of the country, and an area of mid to upper level cloud stretches from northern WA through central Australia and into New South Wales. Cloud also covers southwestern WA and northeastern Queensland. Tomorrow, a cold front crosses Tasmania, followed by another cold front later in the day. A high lies over South Australia. A trough moves to the border of WA and the Northern Territory. West to northwesterly winds up to 45 knots, winds extending to 55 knots about the south. The west and the south can expect westerly swells 6 to 8 metres, southwesterly swells 3 to 5 metres offshore in the south. There is a storm force wind warning tomorrow from Tasman Island to Sandy Cape. There is a severe weather warning also for destructive winds tomorrow, excluding the islands. Another severe weather warning has been issued for abnormally high tides affecting the southeast and west coast. A gale warning issued for most parts of the state and a strong wind warning for the Central Plateau Lakes. While a flood warning continues for the North Esk River. Lastly, there is a warning to sheep graziers in the Midlands, East Coast, Upper Derwent Valley and the southeast. Tomorrow, Hobart and Ouse 13, 11 for Dover. Launceston showers and 13, windy in Devonport and Scottsdale. 13's the top for Burnie and Strawn, windy in Stanley. St Helens 14, Swansea 15, a shower or two for Ross. Tuesday, showers about the west and far south with possible hail in the south with snowfall to 800 metres. Wednesday, light showers about the west extending to the north, possible patchy morning fog, otherwise fine. Thursday, light showers about the north, otherwise fine, until showers develop statewide during the evening. Taking a look now to the mainland tomorrow, mostly sunny in Broome and Brisbane, a shower or two for Adelaide. And currently in Hobart, it's raining with 8 degrees, mostly cloudy in Launceston and windy in Devonport. Now, after a very well-deserved break, our much-loved Peter Murphy will return to 7 Nightly News tomorrow night, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.
You've done a wonderful job. Thank you so much for that, Kaya. That's all your news for this Sunday evening. Thank you so much for joining us. Kim will be back with you tomorrow. Have a lovely evening. Good night.